Hello and welcome back to the Thriving with Chelsea podcast. I am really excited for today's episode, but before we get into it, I just want to say the biggest thank you to every single person who listened to the first two episodes and has given me such incredible feedback. Like I said in the first episode, I started this podcast kind of telling myself that no one was going to listen, that no one was going to care, and I couldn't have been more wrong. I have received so much incredible feedback. I've received so many beautiful messages of women saying like they relate so much to my story. They feel like they are literally me, or they feel like I'm speaking directly to them. And that just means the absolute world to me because I know my journey is so similar to what so many of you are going through. And I really hope that this podcast can guide you in a way of achieving your goals and, just living better, whether that is losing weight, improving your relationship with food, building healthier habits, like going after your dreams, whatever it is. I just really want this to be a place that you can come, plug into, listen to, and feel inspired, motivated, but also feel like you're getting actual advice and tangible actions to get one step closer to your goals. Because I also know what it's like to listen to something and be like, oh, I'm so motivated. But as we know, motivation only goes so far. So that's why I really do want to give you so many like tangible things, pieces of advice, things you can go and action today to get you closer to your goals in this podcast. So again, thank you so much. I am very, 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 very grateful. You guys know I love to yap. Anyone in my life would describe me as a yapper. So the fact that I get to do this every single week with you just makes me so incredibly happy. So for today's episode, I kind of got inspiration from a bit of a trend on social media at the moment, which is people recording like a video and they're speaking about like 5 things worth spending your money on. And then I've seen people do the opposite of like 5 things not worth spending your money on. So I thought I would do that in podcast form so I can elaborate a little bit more, but I want to make it like weight loss specific. So 5 things worth spending your money on and 5 things not worth spending your money on, weight loss edition. So I have a list on my phone. We're going to go through it. I'm going to elaborate and I'm going to tell you what you need to spend your money on to lose weight and what you absolutely do not need to waste your money on. Now, obviously, I'm going to assume anyone listening to this podcast is probably a fully grown adult. So you get to choose how to spend your money. But as somebody who was a previous spendaholic, not just a shopaholic, just a spendaholic, I would spend money like nobody's business. To somebody now who I would say is much better with money, trust me, you do not need all the things that you think you need. And I'm going to get into that in this episode. And I hope that this just kind of gives you a bit of a like reminder of a lot of the things we see on social media we do not need to be spending our money on. You can obviously if you want, but don't buy them thinking that they are going to be the answer to your problems because trust me, they are not. So we're going to start with the things that are not worth spending your money on for weight loss, in my opinion, because it's my podcast. So it's my opinion. Okay, the first one, this is going to hurt a lot of you, and a lot of you are going to want to ignore this and be like, actually, I don't want to listen to Chelsea's advice anymore. Don't worry. But the first thing that I think is not worth spending your money on for weight loss is new activewear. Guys, you do not need any more new activewear. Just because your favorite activewear brand does a new launch every week or every month does not mean you need to spend your money on it. This is how businesses work. They do drops, they create excitement around them, they create hype around them, so you want to buy them. That is how people grow a successful clothing business. There is nothing wrong with that, obviously, but their job is literally to make you feel like you need these new pieces of clothes. Spoiler alert, you do not need these clothes. I have like such a clear memory of one of my previous favorite activewear brands. They would do this like big yearly sale. And I have a memory of spending over $700 in one order on activewear. Half of it I never even fucking wore because in hindsight, I didn't even like what it looked like, but I thought I needed it because it was posted all over my Instagram. I saw my favorite influencers wearing it. I thought it was so cute. There was so much hype. I was like, oh my God, it's going to sell out so quickly. So I need to buy it so quickly. And again, I just didn't need it. I didn't wear half of it. I literally donated it. I was like, this still has tags on it. I'm not even going to bother resell it. I'm just going to donate it because it sat in my wardrobe for years. Fast forward to today. In the last 12 months, I have lost, or 18 months, I should say, I have lost over 25 kilos. And you want to know what my active wear section of my wardrobe looks like? 2 pairs of black tights, black leggings. That is it. I will wear a hoodie like the one I'm wearing in this podcast episode. In summer, I will just wear a random t-shirt. I will wear literally anything. I don't need specific activewear, and neither do you. And if you want to have some more like specific activewear pieces, that's obviously totally fine. But do you need to be spending money every single week, every single month when these new activewear brands do these drops? No. And it's certainly not going to be the thing that makes you lose weight any faster. And with all of these things on the not worth it list, I've done a lot of thinking about this because, again, I used to be such a spendaholic. When we spend money on things like activewear or anything that we think is going to help us get closer to our goals, it almost like tells our brain that we've taken a step forward, that we're doing the thing that's going to get us to our goals, that we've taken action, or we've taken the first step, or we're, doing the things to make the progress, when in reality you haven't done anything. You've just spent money on something that you think is going to fix the problem. So I think a lot of people do this because they're like, oh, I'm going to buy the new activewear and then I'm going to wear that to the gym on Monday. But then Monday comes around and they snooze their alarm. And it's like, oh, okay, so the activewear actually did not get you anywhere closer to your goals. All it got you was to spend your money and then you snoozed your alarm. Now, obviously this isn't the case for a lot of people, but I see this all the time. I always see this with like people inquiring about coaching. And obviously like there's a million reasons why people will ask about coaching or, my coaching, my programs, my meal plans, whatever. And then they don't go forward. There's a million reasons, but something I've noticed is a lot of people will inquire and then ghost. And I truly believe it's because in their mind, they're telling themselves, I need to lose weight. What do I need to do to lose weight? Okay, I'm going to reach out to a coach. That's great. That I think is worth spending your money on. They reach out, they feel accomplished. They feel like they've taken a step in the right direction, and then they don't go any further because they get that like dopamine hit of like, oh, I'm doing something to get me closer to my goals, and then they never go any further. But the reality is you haven't made the progress. You haven't actually taken a step yet because you've got to commit. Same thing with the activewear. You haven't taken a step closer towards your goals. You've just bought new activewear. If that new activewear is actually going to get you to go to the gym on Monday, amazing. But I just know that for so many people, that's the intention, but that never actually happens. So you do not need to be spending more money on new activewear. Wear the activewear you've got. I'm sure you all have more than enough. And then buy yourself new activewear, as you lose weight and you need a smaller size, then buy it. That's like a fun reward. Number 2, this is a big one and it kind of encompasses a lot of things, but it is just like supplements in general. Now, I'm not talking about supplements that have been maybe recommended from your doctor. For example, vitamin D. If your doctor, if you did a blood test and you need more vitamin D and your doctor says, here's a vitamin D supplement, I'm not telling you not to spend your money on that. I'm talking about like influencer, weight loss, fat loss supplements, whether that's like weight loss gummies or fat burners or anything like that. Even I would go as far to say like protein powder. I'm not like a big protein powder girl. I personally don't really enjoy it, so I don't consume it. But I also don't like to push it on people too much because, again, I think people buy these supplements, and protein powder is a supplement, thinking that it is going to like solve all of their problems, when in reality, it's just another way to get more protein in. So a lot of my recipes in my app actually don't include protein powder, and I try to avoid them as much as I can. Not because they're bad for you, not because there's anything wrong with them, but because it's just like another thing that people have to spend their money on that I don't really think we need to spend money on. And again, when I was a spendaholic, every time a new brand would launch a new protein powder and it would be like the most delicious chocolate milkshake fudge brownie flavor, I'd be like, I'm going to buy it. This is going to change my life. I'm going to have this and it's going to be so good. I'm going to lose the weight. And again, it doesn't happen. So do not spend your money on supplements that you're seeing all over your Instagram, that you are seeing your favorite influencers post about. There's very few supplements that are actually like going to be beneficial towards your goals. And again, no influencer can just recommend these to you because it depends where you're at. It depends, if you have certain deficiencies, it depends on your goals. And again, a lot of supplements are just like empty promises. Like a fat burner is not going to help you lose fat. That's not how it works. I'm pretty sure fat burners are just like a pre-workout with a fancy name, and then the logic behind it is like, oh, it gives you energy, so then you work out, so then you lose fat. So supplements, it's not the answer you are looking for. It's not the secret. The secret is not another supplement or a new powder or a new gummy or a new whatever. That is not the secret. So do not spend your money on this. And again, like something like supplements, again, I'm not anti-supplements, but I think there's no point spending your money on something like supplements when you aren't being consistent with your calories. There's no point spending money on things like supplements when you aren't hitting your step goal every single day. Like these are things that eventually, once you're consistent with the foundations, if you want to buy some supplements and include them in your routine, go for it. I'm not anti it, but I don't want you buying these things thinking they're going to be the thing that gets you to your goals, because that's simply not the case. The next one, this one's a bit of a rogue one, but I, again, in my underconsumption era, see this all the time. And that is like the newest water bottle, the newest Frank Green or Owala or Hydro Jug or Stanley Cup, or Kmart came out with this new drink bottle and it lights up and it yells at you to drink water. Like, you do not need to be spending your money on another new water bottle. Do you need at least one water bottle to drink water out of to hit your water target? Yes. Do you need to buy a new water bottle every single month because there's a new trend and the trends jump from, again, a few years ago, everyone had a Frank Green. I had a Frank Green because, again, I used to be a spendaholic. And then the trend was Owalas, so I had an Owala. And then the trend was Stanley Cup, so I had a Stanley Cup. And then I had a few other versions of a Stanley Cup. And then I've done it. I've had all of the water bottles. And guess what? They're all the same. They all just hold water. Yeah, everyone has their personal preferences. Yes, you might prefer a straw lid versus a chug lid. I don't know. But buy a water bottle, use it to drink your water out of, and that's that. You do not need a cupboard full of 15 different fucking water bottles. Again, it's not worth the money. These water bottles, they're getting close to $100 a pop. You do not need that. When I work from home, which I work from home, this is like the only thing I do out of my house, I just drink out of a glass of water. Don't forget, a glass of water exists. So if you're somebody that, you're a stay-at-home mom or you work at an office job, but you can have a glass of water on your desk, you can also drink out of a glass of water. I actually find I get way more water in my day when I drink out of a clear glass versus a water bottle that I can't see into. Again, everyone's different. I'm not saying I'm not anti-water bottle, but I am anti-buying a new water bottle every single month because you think it's going to be the secret to achieving your goals, because it is not. The next one, a little bit rogue, but it is DEXA scans. So these are the scans that you can do. A lot of gyms who do like fitness challenges will have their clients do a DEXA scan at the start of the challenge, and it basically tells you like your body fat percentage, your bone density, muscle mass, all of those things, which isn't bad information to know. And I don't want to like list all of these and then give you like a disclaimer, but I think it's important because I'm not inherently against any of these things, but I am against you spending your money on them thinking it's going to be the thing that changes your life and gets you to finally lose the weight. Because again, that's just not how it's going to work. So I do not think a DEXA scan is worth spending your money on because it's just a lot of information you probably don't need. Now, I'm actually currently in the process of doing like a full, I don't even know what it's called. Like I'm doing a blood test. I have to wait till, side tangent, have to wait till I get my period because they want me to do it on day 2 of my period. But a blood test where they're testing for like hundreds of different things. I'm then going to do a DEXA scan afterwards because they wanted to check my bone density, heaps of things. I have never done a DEXA scan before because I know it's just like another thing. You doing a DEXA scan is not going to cause you to lose weight. Yes, it might give you some useful data in terms of muscle mass, bone density, body fat percentage. That's great. If that's actually going to motivate you to stay consistent, okay, I guess do the DEXA scan. But I think a lot of people tell themselves like, oh, I've got to do this scan, or I've got to buy the $300 scales to weigh myself on because it tells me my this percentage and that percentage. It's all just stuff. It's all just stuff, and nothing gets you results except for you being consistent. So although a DEXA scan might give you some good information, and for some of you that might be inspiring or motivating, I actually think for most people, it's a waste of money. And it's not worth spending your money on, but it's also not worth spending your time on. Unless it's something that your doctor has like recommended you do for X reason, I don't think you need to be doing it. I don't think you need to be spending your money on it. It is not going to be the thing that allows you to lose weight. It's just not. And then the last thing I have under here, which is not worth spending your money on, weight loss edition, is the newest trend. So I have a note here saying vibration plate. I feel like that was like the big thing in the last couple of months. Everyone being like, guys, you need to get a vibration plate. I've been standing on my vibration plate for 5 minutes every morning and I've lost 5 kilos. No, they might have lost 5 kilos, but it's not from their vibration plate. I wish it was that easy. I'd be vibrating on that plate all day long. Don't you worry about it. But it's not that easy. So you don't need the newest trends. And again, like I think having a business, I look at things a little bit differently now. And I think this is why it's what's made me also be able to like be better with not spending so much money and lean more towards underconsumption versus overconsumption, is knowing that like every business is marketing towards you. Like that is their job. Often these big businesses that you follow on Instagram, they have full marketing teams. Their job that they are paid a full-time salary for is to make you want to buy things. So their job is to make it as appealing to you as possible, to sell it to you as much as they possibly can. And they will do whatever they can to do that. And a lot of brands, they're not necessarily the most ethical, or they don't really care about over promising and under delivering. They just want your money. And I think, again, having a business, I see it more from like the other side of like, oh, people will do anything to make money in their business. And although I love my business and I work very incredibly hard, I never will overpromise and under deliver. I'm very ethical with the way that I market my business. I am very like, I'm not going to make false promises. I'm never going to say to someone, you will 100% lose weight if you hire me as your coach, because that's not true. I can 100% give you the plan that's going to get you the results, but if you don't follow it, it's not going to do anything. Same thing with all these things. Yes, the supplements might work if you take them consistently and combine them with a calorie deficit and X amount of steps per day. But the thing in itself is probably not going to get you the results. It's you being consistent. And again, I think me now having a business, I just see that like these trends come and everyone's pushing them, and businesses are now, every business is selling X thing because it's the new thing. It's just marketing. It's just because they want to make more money, which again, nothing wrong with, but it's really important to like be aware of that so you can spend your money more not mindlessly. You can spend your money more mindfully, please. So those are the 5 things that I think it's not worth spending your money on if you want to lose weight. And now I'm going to get into I think I've got 6 things that I think it's actually worth spending your money on. First thing is something to track your steps. Now that can be, I've got an Apple Watch. It can be an Apple Watch. It can be a Fitbit. It can be a Garmin. It can be an Aura ring, an Ultra Human ring. Like there's watches, there's rings. It can be like a pedometer that you can buy probably on Amazon for a couple of bucks that you clip to your pants every single day and it counts your steps. Like whatever you want to buy, whether it's like the cheapest thing, like a cheap little pedometer, or if it's, the most expensive Apple Watch or Aura ring, I don't care what it is. You need to be tracking your steps if you want to lose weight, in my opinion. I think tracking your steps is severely underrated. I think everyone is so obsessed with, I'm going to go to the gym 7 times this week. That's great. But if you want to lose weight, your steps, in my opinion, are more important than going to the gym. And we need to be tracking them. The amount of times I'll say to a client, like, okay, where are your steps at? And they're like, oh, I don't know. I don't track them. I'm like, okay, well, we don't have a full picture then. We can't, accurately assess how your body's responding because we don't know how much you're moving your body every single day. So we need to track your steps. If you have an iPhone, your iPhone tracks your steps. Yes, it obviously only tracks your steps when it's on you. But if you don't want to spend the money on a pedometer or a watch or a Fitbit, you can buy them really cheap, like under $100, Fitbits and things like that. But if you don't want to spend the money and you have a phone, I'm sure other phones do as well, but obviously I have an iPhone. If you have a phone, it will track your steps. Be someone that's like, okay, it has to stay in my pocket all day, every day, so I can accurately track my steps. It's so important when it comes to your journey. Steps, again, so underrated. When I lost 25 kilos last year, I focused on my calories, my steps, and my water. That is it. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't take supplements. I didn't stand on a fucking vibration plate. I didn't do anything. I didn't buy all this new activewear. I didn't have a million daily habits. I focused on those like 3 very basic things and I lost 25 kilos in 12 months. So please track your steps and focus on hitting your step target. Please. This morning, I knew I had to leave my house at 10 to get here. And I was like, okay, I'm going to jump on my walking pad and walk for an hour or so I can get ahead with my steps. I walked on my walking pad. Spoiler alert, I'm going to mention walking pads in a minute. I put my watch on my ankle when I'm on my walking pad, and I've done 8,000 steps for the day already at 11 a.m. Track your steps. It's so important, and it will help you make way more progress than what most people realize. Okay, the next thing that I think is worth spending your money on for weight loss is something to track your food, something that's going to give you custom nutrition targets, and something that's going to give you access to delicious recipes. Now, obviously, I recommend my app, Thrive Wellness Club. If you don't follow me on Instagram at chels.civil and you don't follow my business at Thrive Wellness Club, you need to, because I, hand on my heart, believe that I have the best nutrition app. And I love in my app that you can track your calories and macros. We give you your custom calories and macros. You get access to the recipe hub with over 250 recipes, 5 are added every single week. And the reason this is important is because when it comes to losing weight, you need to eat in a calorie deficit. So you need to be tracking your calories. You can do that on the Thrive app. When you sign up, whether it's for my one-to-one coaching or one of my 8-week challenges, which next 8-week challenge starts in a few weeks. So be sure to sign up. One-time payment of $99. Let's go. I'm so excited. Regardless of what you sign up for, you're going to get custom calorie and macro targets. So that way you don't have to try figure out how many to eat. You don't have to use a random calculator online that's probably inaccurate. We will tell you how many calories and macros you need to eat per day. And then you also have access to meal plans and recipes that you actually want to eat. Because again, when it comes to losing weight, the only thing you need to do is eat in a calorie deficit. So you need to know what your calorie deficit is. You need to have something that's going to allow you to track your calories. And then ideally, you're going to have some delicious recipes so you actually stick to your calorie deficit. And that is what the Thrive Wellness Club app is all about. So shameless plug there, but it's true. That's something that I think is worth spending your money on to lose weight. Number 3, circling back to the steps conversation, is a walking pad. I am the number 1 fan of walking pads. I bought my walking pad over 2 years ago for about $200. I think maybe it was an extra like 50 or so for shipping. I'm going to say I spent about $250 on this walking pad. I ordered it from Bunnings online. It's nothing fancy. It's just a classic walking pad. It is the greatest thing ever. I was worried when I bought it that I wasn't actually going to use it that much, and boy was I wrong. As somebody who works from home and technically has like a very sedentary job, like my job is on my laptop or on my phone, so I'm sitting all day at a desk. A walking pad has changed the game. Again, this morning I walked on my walking pad for an hour while it's a Monday. So I was responding to emails, client messages, doing all of like my Monday morning things. I got 8,000 steps in on my walking pad while I was working. It is the best. Now, in summer, I'll be honest, I did not touch my walking pad for like 4 months. It was tucked away. I didn't touch it because it's nice whether I want to be outside. I want to go for a walk in the morning. I want to take Leo for a walk. I want to go for a walk after dinner with Dan. Like, that's just the reality. But in winter, it is worth its money in gold to me. I don't think it's worth its weight in gold. I think that's the saying. It is worth the $250. Truly the best. And again, I've had it for 2 years. I use it pretty much every single day during the colder months, and it is a game changer. So I highly recommend, if you are somebody who works from home, has a desk job, if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you're somebody who is like a student and you're studying, a walking pad is the best. Because again, I use mine all the time while I'm working, because while I'm working, I'm typing away on my laptop, I'm on my phone talking to clients. I kind of forget I'm even walking. So it's so like, you are being productive with your work, but you're also getting your steps in. It really is like the ultimate multitasking. But you can also use it like if you're somebody who comes home from work and you automatically like, flop on the couch and you just scroll TikTok for hours. You can come home from work, you can go on your walking pad and you can scroll TikTok for 30 minutes and also get 30 minutes of steps in. Like, it is the best. So even if you don't work from home, I still think they're a great purchase, especially in the colder months. I would love to go for a walk every day, but I live in Melbourne. It's fucking freezing and it's usually raining or it's super windy. So sometimes I don't need to because I've got my walking pad. So I really do recommend it. It's the best. I have clients who like have theirs set up in their lounge room and they'll watch a movie while they're on their walking pad. Like it's so good and it really gives you no excuse to not hit your goal. So again, as much as I don't recommend a lot of things and don't think you need to spend money on many things to lose weight, I always recommend walking pads when somebody asks me. Okay, the next one is glass meal prep containers. Now, I this is just like a random little thing and honestly, they're not even that expensive these days. You can buy them from Kmart. The ones I have are from Kitchen Warehouse. They're glass meal prep containers. They have white lids. I don't know what the brand is, but they're from Kitchen Warehouse. Any glass meal prep container. One, there's just something about reheating your food in a glass container that is nicer than a plastic container. Two, I can't get around a crusty, dusty, stained plastic meal prep container. Like when people are washing their meal prep containers and it's still orange from their spaghetti bolognese, I can't be getting around that. I love a plastic, I love a glass, not plastic. I love a glass meal prep container. I love that you can take the plastic lid off them because most of the lids, like it'll be glass, but then the bits that lock are plastic. You take the lid off. If you've made something in it, you can like put the whole glass container in the oven. They're microwave friendly. Most of them, I believe, are freezer friendly. Like they're easier to clean. They're nicer to eat out of. I feel better about reheating it in glass versus plastic. So I am the biggest fan of glass meal prep containers. They also just look nicer in your fridge. Like I love yesterday, I meal prepped. What did I meal prep? Oh, beef and black bean noodles. So yum. And now I have like all my nice clear with white lid glass meal prep containers in my fridge and it looks beautiful. So I would recommend glass meal prep containers. I do think that's worth your money. I'm not a plastic meal prep container gal. Next one, a coach. Again, a bit of a shameless plug, but it's literally my life's work, so I think I'm allowed to. I absolutely think that a nutrition coach is worth the money if your goal is to lose weight. For a million reasons, but to just name a few, obviously, kind of like what I mentioned above, somebody who's going to give you custom calorie and macro targets, someone who's going to give you meal plans, somebody who's going to give you ideally like a platform like my app to have recipes, to track your food, to track your progress, to do everything. So important because it's one thing to have a coach, but if they're not giving you kind of like the tools and the resources, it's kind of just like paying for a little bit of support. So I really love to give my clients so many resources, so many tools, everything they need, but then also pair that with the support. So whether you sign up for something like one-to-one coaching where you actually get like one-to-one support from me or from another coach, if you prefer someone else, I don't know why you would because I'm kind of the best, but no offense taken, it's fine. You'll come around eventually. Everyone always does. But whether you have another coach or it's me, having someone that you can literally message when you are struggling is so powerful because the thing is, losing weight is hard. It takes time. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have good days. You're going to have hard days. Having someone that you can message and be like, hey, Chels, I'm really struggling right now. I can't stop snacking. What do I do? Having someone you can message and then getting an answer from, so incredibly helpful. I think it's also really important to have a coach who has been through what you are going through because they're going to be able to coach you not only from knowledge from their qualifications, but also from real life experience. And that is why my clients see such great results because I have been through what pretty much all of them have been through. If you listen to the first episode, you will know. So I really do think that if you want to lose weight, please invest in a coach. When I first started my journey, I didn't have a coach. I eventually did have a coach and I saw much better results when I had a coach because having that person who kept me accountable, we did a check-in every couple of weeks. I could message her whenever I needed. She gave me my custom targets. Like it was truly a game changer for me and just the support alone, so important. So I really do think like if you want to lose weight, instead of spending money on activewear, supplements, water bottles, scans, the newest trends, spend a bit of money on a coach. I've famously said and previously said that I don't think you need to be spending $150 a week on coaching. Yes, there's some coaches that charge that. Do I think you need to be spending that much money? Personally, no. But I do think you need to spend a little bit of money on one-to-one coaching if you really want to see incredible results. Because the thing is, if you were going to achieve your goals on your own, you probably would have by now. And that's something people all the time say to me, like, oh, I feel like I can do this on my own. And I'm like, that's okay, go for it. Totally. Like, I'm never going to force somebody to pay me or sign up to work with me or sign up for my 8-week challenge. Why would I do that? Why would I want to do that? But I always will say to people, like, from my own experience, whenever I tried to do it alone, it never happened. And if it was going to work, it probably would have worked by now. So why don't we try something different? Why don't we actually get support from somebody who's been through what you're going through, someone who can keep you accountable, someone who can give you the resources and the tools, and try that for a change? Because that's probably what you need. You probably don't need to try it on your own again, because again, if it was going to work, it probably would have. Okay. This is my last one. This is a bonus, kind of like number 6. This one might be a bit of a controversial one, but I stand by it. I think that something worth spending money on if you want to lose weight is having something that you're working towards. Now, whether that is a holiday, whether that is an event, whether that is, I don't know, like something that you're working towards. I think that I kind of feel like my secret to life that I've discovered is like you kind of need things to look forward to. And that's not to say you should hate your life throughout the year and then only enjoy your life when you're on your end of year holiday, because that sounds like a miserable existence to enjoy 1 week out of your 52 weeks of the year. However, I do think having something to look forward to and something that you feel like you're working towards is so motivating. So for example, last year, I knew at the end of the year, Dan and I were going on our first big overseas trip together. I also kind of knew that we were probably going to get engaged. And although I didn't lose the weight just for that, it absolutely kept me motivated and consistent on the days where motivation was lacking. Like if there was a day where I was like, oh, I can't be bothered hitting my steps today, I'd be like, think about how you want to feel when you're away on your holiday at the end of the year. You want to feel confident, you want to feel good, you want to feel proud of the work you've put in. And that often would get me to do the thing. So I know it's not realistic to say like book a holiday for the end of every year, but I think just having it could just be like 2 nights away with your partner or a girls' weekend away or I don't know, anything. But for me, having something to look forward to and work towards is really motivating. So that one might be controversial, but it works for me and I think it's worth spending the money on, because if me spending some money on a holiday, even if it's just a little weekend trip, this end of this year, I've just got a little weekend trip. I also am getting married, but it's just a little weekend away. That will keep me motivated throughout the year. So again, maybe controversial, but it's my podcast, so I can say whatever I want. And if you don't like it, that's okay, because the beauty of life is something else that I've learned is that like you can still get along with somebody. You can still enjoy listening to somebody. You can still follow someone on social media. You can still whatever, even if you don't agree on everything. And I've got a million things I could say about that. But people who are just like, as soon as you disagree on one thing, they're like, oh, unfollow, grow up. But again, I'm going on a tangent, so we'll leave it there. But those are things that I think are worth spending your money on for weight loss and things that I think are not worth spending your money on for weight loss. I'd love to hear your feedback on this. If you have anything that you agree with, anything that you disagree with, if you have anything that you think I missed, feel free to either comment it on this episode, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I think the main takeaway from this is like, don't spend money on things that make you feel like you've taken a step towards your goals, because that's not how it works. The way to take a step towards your goal is by taking action and being consistent with your habits. That is what is going to get you the results you want. So do that. Yes, spend your money how you want, but just be mindful, because companies who sell products, their job is to make you want to buy it. You do not need it. Just because you see it, just because your favorite influencer has it, just because someone you follow on Instagram has it, doesn't mean you need it. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I am absolutely freezing because I turned the heater off, because if you listened to last episode, I left the heater on, I was sweating my tits off, and now the heater's off and I'm fucking freezing. So that's where I'm at. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, be sure to rate it 5 stars, and I will speak to you all in the next one. Bye, my loves.